Hey everyone, so in this tutorial I wanted to show you one IDE that you can use, and this IDE works on Chromebooks, which makes it really useful for people who might not have access to a Windows computer. Now you might notice I am doing this on a Windows computer. That's because I don't have a Chromebook, but this will work on Chromebooks and I've seen people use it on Chromebooks, so don't worry about the fact that I'm on Windows. Okay, so let me explain what GitHub Codespaces really is. If you see right here, VS Code is the editor we were talking about. If you watched the video about what was it? It was about like Git and about IDEs. If you were watching that video, I showed VS Code, which is basically like a text editor. It is a text editor, but you can have tons of extensions and things like that. So VS Code actually has it's basically a web browser. And if you go to vscode.dev, you can access an online version of VS Code right here. The problem, and because the reason why there's an online version of VS Code is because VS Code itself is it's very similar to a web browser. It uses a thing called Electron, which is basically like it's like it has a version of Chrome, or it's actually called Chromium, but it has a version of Chromium inside of here. I did not mean to do that. And so because of that, they also have a website version. But you'll see if I search for, say, Java, this is not available in VS Code for Web, and the reason why is because whoopsie, I did not mean to open Discord. It relies on certain things that do not work on the web version, but what GitHub Codespace allows it to do is it's like this VS Code web version, but it actually is running on a computer, on a cloud computer. So it's running on some other computer that GitHub runs, and it's letting you run a VS Code basically on their computer. So you're able to basically control that computer over the internet. So with that, you might think, yeah, this costs money, and it does cost money, but there's a free version, and that free version can do quite a lot for you. So in this tutorial, I also want to show you how to set this up. So first, you're going to need to go to github.com and create an account. I already have an account, so I'm going to sign in, and it's going to want me to do, yeah, my authentication. So let me get that real quick. Here it is. Quickly approve. Okay, perfect. So you can see I'm on GitHub. My page is probably a lot more than yours if you just created your account. Anyways, to create a GitHub code space, what you need to do is open up any repository. So you can create a new one if you wanted to. I'll call this code space test, and we're gonna make it public. I'm not gonna. We can learn about what a lot of these things are. You can maybe create a description just to kind of see. I'll make it public. Maybe I'll add a README just so you can kind of see, but it doesn't really do anything. I think there should be a Java template in here. Yeah, a license. I'm not gonna worry about that. Okay, create a repository. And then you can see it created the git ignore and the readme. Obviously, you might not know what those things are, and that's okay, because we're just worried about code spaces. So you're going to click this right here, this code button. Now, if you wanted to do it on your local machine, you would need to do either SSH or HTTPS, or you can use the GitHub. They have like a desktop client and some other stuff. But here, this is code spaces. We want to edit our code space online. And you can see right here, I can create a code space just by clicking this. And it's going to want to open it in my VS Code because I have VS Code installed. I don't think this will happen if you're on a Chromebook, but I'm not 100% sure. I think I just need to go back and then try it again. And that will make it work for me. You can also name your code space. I'll call it my code space. Something like that. Okay, and then I'm going to click open in browser so that it opens in the browser just to kind of show you how this can work on a Chromebook. Okay, and you can see right here, it's setting up my code space. It's making a remote connection to a computer over the internet. And so now, if I were to open up my extensions and I wanted to install Java, for example, it should just there it is. Now I'm not going to install it in this tutorial because that's not what we're here for. I'm just here to show you how to get into code spaces, how to access it. And if you ever want to go back, let's say I'm at my repository again, right here, the repository I had my code space on. Let's just refresh that page real quick. You can shut down your code space because keep in mind this is a computer, so I'm just going to shut down that computer. Now it's off, and if I want to open it, I can open it again. But yeah, if I ever want to access my code space, I can open it right here. Now, with the free version of the code space, it costs money, and I'll see if I can find the rate real quick. GitHub Code Spaces cost. Okay. Um, let's see. This is not going to be. This is I believe there's a free version, so you can look it up, see if you can figure it out. But basically, the free version only lets you access a certain amount of time. They're called core hours, and it should be fine for many use cases. But this is the best thing I know of, the best way to do Java programming online. This is the by far the best thing I've ever seen to do Java online. Um, if anyone knows of anything better that might work on a Chromebook, besides using the Linux mode, of course, on Chromebooks, if you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. But if anyone happens to know of anything that might work better, please let me know. I'll link it in the description or in a comment or something. Yeah, say it in a comment as well, so that maybe other people can read those comments because, yeah, it's not ideal that um, you have to that it's kind of a paid it's a paid service, but it's the pretty much the best thing I know of that can work on a Chromebook. And there's a few other issues with code spaces. So one of them, sometimes it has like little lag issues, or sometimes like you'll type something and then it'll kind of freak out, or it won't be. It's not sometimes not as responsive as VS Code is running on a local machine. So yeah, of course it is VS Code, but it's just an online version of VS Code. But yeah, that's basically everything. Um, I hope you found this video interesting, and thank you very much for watching. Happy coding!